Hi, I'm Fletcher Roden, and today on Fletchtalks, writer, comedian, and actress Annie Wood. School Crossing is an intense drama about a retired police detective who takes a last stand against school shootings by placing himself in front of his local elementary school, upsetting the community and the political forces around him. School Crossing not only asks the important questions, it offers real, workable solutions to the recurrent tragedy of school shootings. School Crossing, in paperback and for Kindle at Amazon.com. Or save 15% when you buy this or any other Fletcher Roden paperback from FletcherRoden.com. You are the host of Bzzz. I hope I'm saying that right, a game show.
Well, you know what? Bzz was when it was local. And then when it went national, we started calling it Buzz.
Oh,
Even though
okay.
there's no U. You see?
Yeah.
Because we could afford to buy the vowel.
And how long was it national?
2 years.
Really? That's exciting.
Yeah.
You got some really good reviews for Bzz and for Buzz. Jean Harlow, they compared you to Jean Harlow. That's quite something.
It was amazing.
Were you a big Jean Harlow fan as a kid?
Actually, I love classic films. I love old Hollywood. So that was very exciting. The Hollywood Reporter came out with that review and said, a new blonde is on the scene, comic blonde is on the scene, like Mae West and Jean Harlow. Annie Wood is a find. And this was so exciting. My producer, when he read it, he got all choked up. It was actually a very beautiful moment. And I was very happy, obviously. I sent the reviewer flowers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm really proud of Buzz, of hosting that. I also co-produced it and I helped develop it. So I really had my hands involved in that. And I'm proud of that because they weren't considering me to host it, but I was working in the office there helping develop it. And one of the comics didn't show up one day doing a run-through. And so I knew all the contestant coordinators because that's what I was doing. I was a contestant coordinator on the show because I had worked on Singled Out at MTV and I had a big book of people. So then Stu Billett hired me to come work on this show that he was developing. And one day I went into his office and I said, "Listen, I know what this show is missing. I just know what you need. You need the host not to tell jokes and be about themselves. You need them to connect to the contestants. It has to be about the contestants. Basically, what I'm saying is you need me." And he kind of looked up from his big desk and said, "You'll get your chance, kid." And I like to add the kid. I don't know if he really said that.
Suddenly you were in the 1930s.
Yeah, exactly. So then one day when the comic didn't show up, I went in and I did the run-through. They taped that run-through. We went around town and we pitched that that tape of a run-through. And his son, I think, Stu's son did graphics, like Blind Date did later, all those funny graphics of what people are thinking.
Yeah.
And Stu, was the smart producer guy, and I was the silly hostess chick, and we both went in with that energy and pitched it and sold the show. So I have a lot, I think, of pride.
When you look back on that kind of heady, early movement in your career, what kind of obstacles or roadblocks can you delineate for some of our viewers who are younger and up and coming, given the experience that you have now?
That's a great question. So I like to not regret, but there definitely are a few things. Had I been older, I mean, I was in my 20s, and that's just different. That's just a different time in your life, and you're just kind of figuring things out. I was offered work when I had the job because I was hot, right? So when you're hot in this town, you get things. People love you. So I was getting offered to do other game shows, to host things and all that, but I couldn't because there's a conflict. But what I could have done was kind of massage those relationships and keep those people closer, and kind of continue that even when the show was canceled, that, not just forget about the people who were like interested. Do you know what I mean? Like continue those relationships.
You did a couple features, Good Luck Chuck,
I
with
did.
Dane Cook, I
Yeah.
believe, the comic, and My Sister's Keeper. Those were vastly different types of films.
Yeah.
And you
Cassavetes,
showed a lot of range
yes.
in your performances.
Cassavetes, well, thank you. Cassavetes is a fantastic director. I love him. My God, what a talent. Dane Cook was great to work with. He was really a good guy. He's a really good guy. I liked him. As you know, I'm really concentrating on writing as much as I still act. I'm still an actress and I do voiceovers and all that. But writing is like where my heart is. And the first time one of my plays was produced, I'll never forget. It was the first time I wasn't in it. And I was just a writer and no one knew who I was on this one performance. And I watched everyone's reaction, and that feeling stays with me as being this kind of, I don't know, this anonymous, amazing feeling that my story is affecting people the way I want it to. They're laughing, they're leaning in at the right moments. It was just this.
You mentioned writing. You've moved into literature. Also, you've published a book, Dandy Day.
I did.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Dandy Day.
Nice.
Well, I have two books of comedic scenes available for actors. There's a few casting directors around town that use my scenes in workshops, and one in particular uses just my scenes. And so I also have this little side gig, writer for hire, so actors contact me and I will write a unique scene just for them that showcases them, a 3-minute comedic scene. So I have already been selling those books, and I've had those out for a little while. I had a book of short stories I wrote a long time ago. But this is my first, prose, my first novel type. Novella, really, because it's a short novel. And I just love it. I started taking my screenplays that did well in contests and stuff like that, but haven't been sold. And I started converting them into novellas, and that's what I'm doing now, so I can get my stories out there, because they're no good sitting in my office.
They're available on Kindle.
They're also paperback.
Paperback too. Which do you find is selling better for you, paperback or Kindle?
Kindle, for sure. People love. This is it's a big thing, the Kindle revolution. So yes, Kindle is selling better. However, I love holding this in my hand still, even though I am a Kindle reader. I read everything on my Kindles, but I still have some physical books, and it just, I don't know, it feels good. So, also it's large print, so people like my dad can read. So, I don't know. I like the way this feels, but I know that Kindle is hugely important. If you're an indie author, you better put it out on Kindle.
More Annie Wood next time. If you'd like to be a guest on Fletchtalks, drop me an email. I'm Fletcher Roden.